giving you an inside look at everything going on in Husker Nation. This is the KLIN Husker Hour.
Kicks and deals the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Jackson Brockett has the first 9-inning no-hitter for the Nebraska Cornhuskers since 1954, and he did it on his 12th strikeout.
Sunset, got it! Underdog, and then one! Exclamation point! Pump the brakes!
Now your hosts, KLIN contributor Cole Stukenholtz and sports director Nate Rohr.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the KLIN Husker Hour. I see that I went with the blackout edition as the Huskers are calling for November 1st. It is a good day. Just 2 Saturdays left before Husker football. I'm Cole Stukenholtz. We've got Nate Rohr alongside. Hello, Nate.
Hi, I'm a traditionalist. I will prefer how the Huskers are dressed the other 11 games of the year, but if we got to move some merch for Adidas, okay, that's fine.
We'll maybe get down with our takes on the alternate uniforms a little bit later on in the show. We've got a good one for you. We will be joined shortly by Amie Just, columnist at the Lincoln Journal-Star. We've got volleyball starting their season against a fellow top 5 opponent before the next time we will come to you. So we'll talk with Amie about Husker volleyball and, of course, Husker football as well. We will get to our game-by-game picks of the season. Next week, we'll focus more on that Cincy game. But we're going to go game-by-game today. Nate and I will tell you which games Nebraska is going to win, which games are going to lose. And a huge recruiting win for Nebraska this week as well. It's one that we kind of forecasted earlier this offseason, Nate, that would be a big get, and they certainly did. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we now know the famed Matt Rule single digits, Nate, and there are you go 0 through 9 because now we have a number 0, which is fabulous. I love the number 0 on football players. I wish it was on a D lineman like Nash Hutmaker, but you know what? Javen Wright will wear it well.
Sure.
But I like the fact that you have this. It's there are certain players that you will never see in a number 1. Obviously, a couple of years ago, it was I think it was Ethan Piper who had the designation as a single digit guy, but could not wear a single digit per college football rules. So you see defense skewed a little bit more on it, but it is a sign of things to come, I think, because a lot of folks are excited about Riley Van Poppel, and Van Poppel's got the number 5 this season. You like the steps that Sierra Wright took in the secondary, and he picked up the number 1. And Vincent Shavers is looking like he's going to be one of the main guys in the middle of that defense. He's going to be wearing number 9. The excitement level just continues to ramp up. More and more stuff comes out every day. We're getting closer and closer to actual football. And this is one of those steps, Nate. And I think that Rule he's doing a good job this offseason to continue to put his stamp on the program, to have the players kind of pick up on his personality. They're a reflection of their coach, and they're exuding a sense of calm and a sense of confidence and a sense of, hey, look, we're taking the next step as a program this year, and there's nothing anybody else can do to stop us. And that part of it is, it's giving me a little bit more confidence as I forecast how this team is going to look on the field this season. And I don't know if they'll not follow up on that, but they're doing all the things that you can ask of them in the off season, which we've seen before. Yes. But I think they're certainly better positioned than they have for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. It feels like there's actually some structure behind it. You feel confident about the mental aspect of this team. And, whether you want to admit it or not, they got better last year. They were better year 1 to year 2. And there are a lot of reasons to believe that they're going to be better year 2 to year 3. When you consider the coordinators that were brought in, when you consider another year of development for Dylan Raiola, you look at the pieces they've added on both sides of the ball, and the message has remained consistent that's where this thing is going, and you feel good about what they've said and what the little peaks that you've gotten feel like this thing is moving in the right direction. And we're certainly at that point where it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of, it can't be verified until they run onto the field at Arrowhead less than 2 weeks from today. But, that's true, if we saw every snap of practice, or, if we even got less access, if we didn't see practice at all, if we didn't talk to the players. But everything is sounding good. And yet I think because of this coaching staff's track record, that's where you can kind of separate the hype from, okay, now what's it really going to be? Because, the preseason discourse is always going to be optimistic. You haven't lost anybody. Yeah, very few people get hurt. You're still, 100% or very close to 100% in terms of how you feel physically. But then you look at how Matt Rule has been able to build programs, and you look at the concrete steps that he's taken here to build this program. There's a lot of reason to believe this thing's moving in the right direction, and now they just have to prove it on the field. But let's go back to the single numbers for just a second. Just like everybody expected, a 15 got the number 1. Just not the 15 they were expecting. I more or less said that yesterday. I more or less said yesterday morning, they're probably going to make Dylan Raiola number 1 because it was a total fake out. Because in the mornings, this is a little inside baseball, but whatever. If you're listening to us, you're a diehard. But we get the email in the media that says the exact times when the availability is going to take place and maybe some details as to which players are going to be available. And they said they verified, okay, it's going to be Dana Holgerson, it's going to be Donovan Raiola, and then we're going to have a few players, including Dylan Raiola. And so if you're reading the tea leaves, number 1 is the number still open. They had named all the other single digits through the week. Cole called me crazy. I was connecting that last dot that never got connected.
Did the guy in Kansas City change his number to 1? Then I don't think Dylan's going to do it either.
No. Patrick hasn't gotten there yet.
No. Not that he's going to do everything, but there's a little bit of a branding there. Number 15's,
sure,
I think, where he'll stick. That was a nice little call out with that last number remaining there. When we're looking ahead, and we're going to do this here later on in the show today, when you go game by game, we talked about how past seasons have had these hinge points. Like last year, Illinois, if Luke Lindenmeyer catches that pass in the back of the end zone in the fourth quarter against Illinois, that maybe that game goes differently. Maybe the season goes differently. There are a few of those on the schedule, and I think those are there's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 of those games. There's one that would be total, icing on the cake type thing. It's very unlikely. And then the rest of them are all winnable, I think. But being in the position now where Nebraska is, knowing that they've got a sophomore quarterback who played all of last season, knowing that you feel like you've kind of revitalized the offensive line and the skill positions, and the defense having a lot of turnover at the position coaches, the players on the field, especially in the front 7, but feeling pretty good about the guys that they've got coming up. I don't know. All of it kind of comes to a head here as the season gets going soon. But I don't know. I just keep coming back to the, John Butler is not talking about individual players, but still is talking about how everything's working together. You have the Riley Van Poppel stories coming out where he's been really good. Keona Davis seems to have taken that next step. The defensive line, if you're going one position that needs to succeed for this year to work, I think that's where I come every time. And we can go back to our position preview where we both kind of said, well, the experience isn't there on the defensive line, but Matt Rule does this a lot, and he knows that that's the position that he really wants to be good, and it's usually pretty good. The other thing is, if you think back just a couple seasons, Nate, 2023, if there were probably a few question marks, obviously, but what was one of the biggest question marks going into that season?
Sure, it was D-line.
It was. And look how they turned out. You have this guy, Ty Robinson, who had been okay. He emerges and goes on this 2-year tear. Nash Hutmaker was unbelievable in the middle in 2023. And so there are reasons to be very optimistic, more so than the typical Nebraska offseason reasons to be optimistic. So that's, yes, there's Kool-Aid being drunk around the state, but this Kool-Aid is not as sugary, right? They toned it down a little bit, but people are still getting it. And I think there's more, it's a healthier Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah.
It's diet Kool-Aid. It's Kool-Aid Zero,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But there's more substance behind the optimism this year. There's more things that are concrete and real that you can point to. Dana Holgerson's past experience as an offensive coordinator, Mike Eckler's past experience as a special teams coordinator. Like, there are question marks, but there are reasons to feel like, okay, they're going to have a handle on these questions and they're going to be able to answer them this year.
Right. And getting into the defensive line specifically, there are a couple of reasons beyond just, hey, they're young guys and they recruited them that build your confidence. And the first is they've played some. This is not a situation where they've never hit the field. They've, Riley Van Poppel hasn't been a 50 snap a game guy. Sure, fine. But he's played. He has experience. And when he's been out there, he's been really good. Elijah Judy has played fairly regularly throughout his career. Cam Lenhart, I think we're all sitting here waiting for him to take that next step to be a really good player because, we saw it when he was a freshman. He took a step back last year. And so the feeling there is it's in him. And, give the prior defensive regime a ton of credit for rotating guys, for getting guys meaningful experience to where they're prepared for this. And then, the fact that Matt Rule, what two position groups has Matt Rule been most overt about saying they're going to be good? It's good. It's running back and it's defensive line, and some of that, yes, can be, hey, I'm trying to build them up. I'm trying to get them to believe, but Matt Rule isn't going to say that they're going to be hell on wheels if they're not going to be at least pretty serious discomfort on wheels, right? I mean, you're not going to blow them out of the water with praise and with hype. And the other part is defensively, they don't have to be as good, I don't think, because I think the offense is going to take a real step forward, and I think the special teams is going to take a step forward. So it's not a situation where you need to get back to where you were last year. It'd be nice. You can sure hope for that, and you sure work for that. But for this team to win, they don't need to be as good defensively as they were last year. They're not bringing along a true freshman quarterback and a running back position where you didn't have real definition there, or, a wide receiver room that was disappointing, etc. They need to be good. They need to be top half of the Big Ten, but it's not like they need to be the lockdown unit they were for points last year.
Put it on a t-shirt, by the way. Serious discomfort on wheels. That's what I want to see.
Yes.
The D line will definitely be a part of the conversation as we look game by game. We'll do that later on today as Nate and I pick the season. When we come back, though, Amie Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star will join us, give her thoughts on the eve of football and volleyball seasons. That's coming up right after this here on the KLIN Husker Hour.
Husker football, basketball, baseball, and beyond. This is the KLIN Husker Hour on 1499.3 KLIN.
A little long here on your Saturday morning. We're live on the StreamYard on KLIN's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages, and Husker Hour's Facebook page as well. And we say good morning to Lincoln Journal-Star columnist Amie Just joining us here on Husker Hour. Amie, good morning. How are you?
Good. I've been up since 4:55.
Got your run in?
I did. Got my run in.
Very good. Well, before we get started with some football and volleyball talk, I did just want to shout out your appearance on the Sickos Committee podcast, which that group is a trip.
Unhinged.
Did they reach out to you after the Archie Wilson thing? What did that stuff?
No, it was before that, actually. A couple weeks before that. They've followed me since my Montana days. So, and I covered some pretty sicko stuff up there. I was at the game where it was the first college quarterback to be ejected for targeting. I was at that game. So
yes.
Pretty sicko stuff, let me tell you what. So
yes. Yes.
They've been on the ground floor with me. So it was just funny how that worked out. But yeah, no, it was 2 hours of just pure chaos is the best way to describe that.
Very good. Well, we're just 1 hour of moderate chaos here. So we've got a long way to go. We've got something to shoot for. Let's start with hell on wheels, as Matt Rule called it. That defensive line and the defense as a whole, really. Nate and I just talked about how, they might not be as good as they were last year. You could take a step back, but overall still could be fine. Looking at this season, the change of coordinators at special teams and offense get a lot of attention. What is your sense of how John Butler feels about his unit on defense and what they're poised to do, replacing a lot in the front seven, but having a lot of experience in the secondary?
Yeah, I think, number one, I'm curious to know how today's scrimmage goes from a tackling standpoint, because last week Matt Rule was not shy about how that was not up to par. And there are reasons for that, right? You've got a lot of young guys. You only get so many fully padded practices in camp. John Butler pointed to, maybe, that's kind of why some early season football is a little bit sloppy, because you don't have as many like full tackle reps and you have none of tackling quarterbacks, right? So that is a concern early. It's not like a worry, but it's just like, all right, that's something to pay attention to. As in terms of, the front seven, I mean, some of those new guys earned single digits, right? Or some young guys, right? There are 3 underclassmen that earned that this year, which is unique, very unique. So that's never happened with Matt Rule before here. It's happened in previous stops, but never here. So you wonder what things are going to look like, what the rotation's going to look like. But overall, I'm not worried. I still think it's a little bit early. Now, if we're having these problems in like week 6, then, then it's time to be like, okay.
You just said that, this is something that you expect to improve as the season goes on. But, we'll hear from Coach Rule after the scrimmage today. And, of course, this is the last week before you really dive in fully to game prep. What, is there anything you could hear that would really set off some red flags about where this defense is and to where you would say, okay, I think we're all figuring this is going to be at least an okay defense. We need to be worried now.
Again, if Matt comes out today and says, well, tackling was even worse than last week, right? Or like something like that. But there are more questions than worries. And that'll, for me, right? Like, I don't like to be, too high. I don't like to be too low either with this, especially since we haven't seen a game yet. It is the dog days of practice. It's hot as hell outside. I know, I just ran in it. It was awful. They're practicing in the afternoon. Good luck, fellas. So I'm trying not to read too much into things just yet. And I know how dare I not, make all of my opinions off of, one scrimmage that we don't get to see. But yeah, it would have to be like Matt Rule himself, like waving the flag, I think, today for me to be like, oh, maybe things aren't as good as we think they will be. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
Amie Just joining us here on Husker Hour as we get it ready for Husker football season, just less than 2 weeks away. We'll get to volleyball here in a second as well. But the big story this week was really the answer to one of my questions in our season preview is going to be who is most likely to be the cult hero of this team. And now I don't see how the answer can't be Archie Wilson after the week he's had.
I have been on this all off season. Yeah. So I did that interview with the Sickos before that interview happened.
Yeah.
So just saying.
You did. And before the the emotional response to getting asked about his family, he was still going to be a what is it, bipedal punter, ambipedal with 2 feet, and they're excited about him being able to throw the ball. Like, this guy has a chance to really, I don't know, get everybody's eyes on the field when the punter comes out, for good reasons though, like Iowa type reasons. You're excited about the punter coming on the field for once, not that the offense collapsed, but that something interesting might happen.
Yeah. I was a fan of this guy since I started watching his tape back when he committed here, or was, as it works, you're told where you go from pro kick. So I'm glad that other people have joined me on this. I am pretty disappointed though in some people's response to his media session. Like, most of it has been overwhelmingly positive, but there have been some people who are like, oh, that's not a tough guy. What's wrong with you? Like, who cares? I am treading very carefully. I almost swore. It just makes me so mad. Like, you're allowed to show emotion. Like, showing emotion doesn't mean that you're not tough. Like, I don't understand this at all. So all the old heads who are not fans of Archie Wilson because he cried, touch grass, please. But, the team has been really supportive of him. There's been a lot of international media attention on it. And Dominican Sue posted a video yesterday. The people that matter are supportive. But yeah, to get back on track, I can't wait to watch the punting. Because last year, Brian Buschini did his best. He did. But now you never know what's going to happen. We knew Brian Buschini was probably good for a 45-plus yarder. Who knows what's going to happen now? Maybe he'll throw. So it'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and the thing is that Buschini also, the coverage structure was not very good. Gunners flat out weren't getting down the field. I mean, how big a jump can Nebraska make in that punting aspect of it, where you've got a guy who's essentially directional punting every time if the situation calls for it, and he should have better guys covering for him.
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit under Eckler. I think he knows what he's doing, and he knows that there are flaws in the existing system that need to be worked out. And I believe that he can fix it, because it's hard to get worse than what Nebraska put out there last year.
Well said. Amie Just from the Journal-Star joining us here. Let's switch gears and go over from we'll switch from a middle-class Big Ten team to a top of the national pecking order team in Husker volleyball. A lot of expectations on Danny Busboom Kelly, and really when you get down to it, Amie, a lot of expectations on this junior class. They have been to 2 Final Fours, one of which was a national title loss, and I feel like this offseason, it's for me been kind of keeping an eye on, okay, are they changing their approach, or are they just tweaking things here or there? Are they aware of, they want to have a legacy defining couple of seasons here? What is your sense of, Harper Murray, Bergen Riley, Andy Jackson, Laney Choboy, these 4 in particular, and what they're poised to do here in 2025?
Yeah, so I did a column with them when they were freshmen before they had ever played in a match that mattered, right? And all of them, without question, I asked them what their goals were. They were like, national championship. All of them said that. All of them, including the one freshman in that class that's no longer here, who has a national championship. So they are driven, and they're not driven by, outside expectation. No, they're competitive as hell. They want to win. They've wanted to win since they got here. They knew it was possible. They've gotten really close. They were heartbroken that they could not win a national championship for Lexi Rodriguez, who I think might be the most successful Nebraska volleyball player to not win one. She's in the conversation, right? So
Sure.
they want it so bad this season. Like they have all the entire time that they've been here. Now, what the lineup looks like, I don't know. And I don't know if they know just yet. Today will be an interesting look at that. You wonder who's going to get the start, right? If it were me, I would lean with the veterans in the positions that are up for debate. So it wouldn't surprise me if Bergen Riley starts today. It wouldn't surprise me if Taylor Landfair starts today. It wouldn't surprise me if Lainey Choboy starts today. But in the second and third set, I don't know. We'll see. So, but I'm really looking forward to today. Because if there's anybody that can beat this team, it's, a team with Jordan Larson on it.
Yeah.
She knows the weaknesses too, having coached them last year.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned how bad this group, that junior class wants to win a national title. That includes Harper Murray, and this is her team. I think it's in some ways this year, and she had kind of a quiet red-white scrimmage, and you can drive yourself nuts with inter-squad scrimmage stuff. But is there any worry with her that she might be pressing a little bit?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Next question.
It was a practice.
That's true. We are talking about practice.
And there were so many weird rotations that they were trying out. And again, I'm not reading too much into it because I thought at times she had some pretty phenomenal moments. So,
yeah, let's big picture here with this fall, football, volleyball, whichever way you want to take it. What's the thing that you're most looking forward to seeing it play out on the field or on the court?
It's a good question, Cole. I want to see how volleyball makes it through that first weekend. Yeah. The first 2 weeks, right? You play 3 top 10 teams in the first 2 weeks of the season. For football, can they beat a ranked team? It's been a long time. If they go to overtime against a team, can they win an overtime game since the first
down
in over a decade? Can they win the close games? The little things that separate good teams from great teams. Can they do those things?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think, in past years under Matt Rule at other places, this is where that change happens. So will it happen here? I don't know. We'll find out.
What's your par? We're going to pick this football season game by game. And athletic director Troy Dannon was reluctant to, and most athletic directors are, to say, hey, they need to win this number of games. But how many games does Nebraska need to win in football for this to be deemed a successful season?
Well, success is relative, right? Because you're going to have fans out there who are like, anything less than 10 is ass. Whoops. But it's true though. So some people are going to be like that. Some people are going to be a little bit more measured, right? For me, I think 6 is the floor. 11 is your ceiling. I don't think you get there. But if everything happened, toss up things that went in Nebraska's favor. 11 is your optimistic, everything happens great, no issues ceiling. I think they're somewhere in the middle. I think 8-9 is where, that's a good thing. Now, granted, this is a fan base that at one point in time was really angry at 8-9 win seasons. So
I remember that.
I do too. So, I think it's all relative. Some people want it to be 1994 again.
Right.
But that was 30 years ago. So, I think 8. But again, like, it's also about the games you lose. Like, if you lose to Minnesota again, if you lose to Iowa again, does it matter if you potentially beat Michigan and Penn State? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
And how? That's if
it's another last second 13-10 field goal against Iowa, like for the love of God, like it doesn't matter if you're 11-0 going into that game. If you lose like that again, no.
There'll be some grumpy people.
Ohio State paradox, right? They won the national championship, but they lost to Michigan.
Yeah.
So,
and Nebraska had that play out. Like, would you rather have a losing season if you knew you could beat Iowa? That's what happened in 2022, right?
Sure.
They got that win at the end, but still 4-8, not great.
I'd still take the winning season with an Iowa loss, personally.
Yeah. I think Ohio State fans are happy with the Natty. Some might be, oh no, Michigan or nothing, but mostly I think they're probably fine. We'll get you out of here on this. Are you yay or nay on alternate uniform selection for this season, the All Blacks?
I like them.
All right. Nate's nay.
Well, it's boring. So Nate.
Yes, I am. I am the arch traditionalist when it comes to uniforms. But
you see, the only opinion that matters to me is the players. If the players want to wear alternate uniforms, let them. Who cares? Like,
yeah, but I will prefer how they're dressed the other 11 games of the year. Okay, wear them once, get it out of your system. I don't need to see them again.
You say that now.
I'll say that
through
if
the
they beat
grapevine,
USC 50-0, I don't want to see them again. I don't care.
I heard through the grapevine that Nebraska is going to wear some red on red and white on white this season. So be careful what you ask for.
Boy,
I mean, I don't love that either, but I'll sure take
You
that.
said you'd be fine with whatever else they're going to wear in any other game.
I said I would prefer it to black uniforms.
Okay.
Yeah, I said I'd prefer it, and I do. But
so I think there's a way to make this even like special. Like, okay, they're wearing all black uniforms. They're asking to, paint it black for the stadium.
Yep.
Honor a bunch of old black shirts, ones that maybe don't necessarily get the recognition that some of the other ones do. Like, make it a thing. Like, have fun with it. Make it special. Mm-hmm. I think that's how you get the people of the fan base who hate the black to maybe embrace it a little bit more.
I do like the fact that they're getting way out in front of it in terms of the asking the fans to wear black. They've tried this before, but it's been like student led, and it's been like the week of, and it's just not long enough to give Nate and those old heads enough time to change their routines around. So they've got 2+ months. Nate, you got 2+ months to get behind this. I want to see you in black November 1st up there when you head into the booth to do your PA duties. All right. I want to see you black.
I've got a pair of red dress pants, and the thought has crossed my mind, red on red on red. I think I'll acquiesce.
You hate
you crazies who want Nebraska to look like Iowa and Colorado. Thank you very much. I'll acquiesce. I'll buy another Adidas polo, but you're all wrong, and you should know you're wrong.
You hate fun.
Wow.
It's just in, folks. Nate hates fun.
Nate
that's probably accurate.
Nate Rohr, serious discomfort on wheels.
Yeah.
All right. Amie, we've kept you too long. We really appreciate the time. Noted fun-loving sicko Amie Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Put it on my
Business
tombstone.
card.
Yes, hope to see you at a softball game this fall. We'll talk
Oh,
later.
God, I've got better things to do. Have fun.
See ya.
We do have
Bye.
better things to do. That is very true. Amie Just good. Went very long with Amie. We're gonna get to our game by game picks. A few other things to hit on as well. That big recruiting win for Nebraska football. Also, the AP top 100 or last 100 years AP All-America team for football came out. Nebraska had 3 players on that list. We'll see if you think of which 3 they are out there, dear listener. And Nate, I don't know if you saw it. We'll quiz you as well. We'll get to all that when we come back. Plus our game by game football season picks here on Husker Hour right after this. Bad.
Talking with current and former Huskers and those that cover the Big Red. This is the KLIN Husker Hour on Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, that was fun. If you missed that last segment with Amie Just and Nate Rohr going at it over alternate uniform takes, make sure you get tuned into the podcast. Find us on KLIN.com or on Spotify or Apple Music. Get subscribed and give us a rating and review. We appreciate it. We're on the StreamYard as well. You can catch that on KLIN's YouTube page later too. Nate, am I going to have to work on you for 2.5 months here to get you to wear black on November 1st?
Probably.
Okay.
You know what? We used to, when I worked full time with a network, we would get a few polos, a couple of quarter zips, the whole thing at the beginning of the year. And the black ones I would usually give away. So I don't know that I own a black Nebraska shirt. And I say that very proudly. And I say that as a highly dignified member of the Husker athletic community.
Fair enough. Hey, everybody's got to have their standards, and you've got high standards. And we'll just see if maybe the joy the players have around wearing black can bring you around and melt your cold heart. All right, let's get a couple of quickies knocked out here before we get to our game by game picks. Nebraska, 5-star in-state commit. Torrey Pittman, safety from Omaha Central. He commits to Nebraska. He's a 2027 5-star recruit. Huge win. We talked about this a few months ago, Nate, when it looked like Nebraska was trending in the right direction. They get him. Checks all the boxes. Sure. In-state, 5-star, elite defender, and in a 2027 class that is going to be bigger than the 2025 class was. And I mean, you look down the road, Matt Rule's really taking big swings with some of these recruits, really, really highly rated guys. He's really good to get started off with.
Yeah, and I think it's important on a number of fronts. You mentioned just the fact that he's high talent. That's huge. But the narrative is forming because of how this year is going in recruiting, that Nebraska is not recruiting Omaha well, that they're not the presence in Omaha in terms of football recruiting that they have been historically. And this reverses that. This stops that. And it makes it easier to accept the idea that this year, despite a really good class, especially at Millard South, those guys are going elsewhere. And it's not because Nebraska can't get them. It's because Nebraska just doesn't have many scholarships, doesn't have a lot of spots for guys. So it validates that line of thinking that Nebraska went into Omaha and got a guy. And he was a high talent guy. Lots of people were after him, and they got him. So that feels good, and it gives you some hope for the future that Nebraska can recruit Omaha well, because let's face it, there is one talent base in this state, and it's Omaha. And if Nebraska cannot recruit Omaha, it's going to be really tough here. So it's good that they got that win there.
Yeah, I agree. You have to have a recruiting hold, a foothold in Omaha to be able to be successful, because these guys are easy to get distance-wise. They're easy to get on campus. Many times they can just drive right down the road, get to practice, see what they could potentially be doing in college. It's an advantage you have to have if you're Nebraska. And then the other news football-wise, before we get to our game-by-game picks, 3 former Huskers made the AP's 100-year All-American team. Nate, have you seen the list?
So I saw the first team list. I didn't know they did a second and a third.
They had a second. I didn't see a third. I did
okay,
see a second.
So a second team. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So listeners out there, if you've got an idea in your head of who these 3 might be. So first team, all-purpose, Johnny Rogers.
Jet, yep.
Of course. And D-tackle, Ndamukong Suh. Rich Glover fans out there, and old heads might prefer Rich Glover, but Sue, recency bias, probably he gets the nod. First team. Second team, he's got an award named after him, Nate.
Dave Remington.
Second team, all AP All-American center. First team was Chuck Bednarik, which he has a defensive award named after him.
Right, but he played both ways, even certainly in college and even in the NFL in like 1960. He was and is nuts. Go and find his Sports Century doc on YouTube. He's you picture a Philadelphia man, that's Chuck.
Yeah, and obviously Nebraska's got a quarterback and a running back that have won Heisman trophies. They did not make the first or second team, Crouch and Rozier. Honestly, Frazier would be higher up on the list in terms of an all-time All-American team, but the quarterbacks were Tim Tebow and Vince Young. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, that's a tough look. That's a tough bracket to get through.
Yeah.
But Tommy Frazier won 3 conference championships.
MVP of 3 straight natties.
Yeah, 3 straight national championship games. Like, Tommy is going to be criminally underrated for the rest of his life because he didn't win the Heisman Trophy that he should have won in 1995.
Yep.
And because his numbers were never great because he had so much talent around him.
Well, didn't play in half of 94 as well.
Yeah, I mean, he gets hurt in 94, and he had a ton of talent around him to where he didn't rack up the numbers. He was pitching to Lawrence Phillips and Almon Green and Damon Benning, Clinton Childs, and even Derek Brown and Calvin Jones before that. He had great eye backs. Why did he need to run for 100 yards every game? He was usually out of the game by the third quarter.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the Nebraska flavor on the 100-year All-America team, AP celebrating their 100th year of existence. All right, we are celebrating Nebraska football. We are going game by game. Next segment, we'll tell you what Nebraska's records are going to be. Nate and I, we'll see if we're pretty much on or if we're a little different. We'll do that right after this on the KLIN Husker Hour.
Now that I'm a dad.
Your Saturday morning source for everything Huskers is right here. You're listening to the KLIN Husker Hour on Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
All right. The time has come. 2025 season is almost upon us, and we are going to go game by game, tell you what we think is going to happen here in this 2025 season. Nate, are you ready?
I am.
All right. Here we go. Starting in Kansas City, August 28th, Nebraska, Cincinnati. I am going win, Nebraska.
Huskers win, I think, by 2 scores or more.
2 scores or more. I think it might be a 1-score game. I think it's going to be a little tight in there. Next up, it's a couple of, I think, probably the easiest games Nebraska will play this season. It's first Akron, September 6th. That's a night game, 6:30 kickoff at home. Nebraska gets it over the Zips. They actually play this time, Nate.
Yeah, the real question is, do the Thunderstorms stay away? If they do, Huskers win comfortably.
All right, that's both of us at 2-0. Then Houston Christian, 11 a.m. kickoff, September 13th. I've got Nebraska rolling there. Probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 touchdown win.
Oh, more than that.
More than that. You're probably right. Okay, so we're both 3-0. No surprises there. I think Cincinnati is obviously the only really toss-up out of those bunch. Next up, this is a big one. Michigan, no Sharon Moore, maybe Bryce Underwood, the true freshman quarterback for Michigan. It's a 2:30 CBS kickoff. I don't think Nebraska gets it done. I think they still have a little block about them with those big games, and I think Michigan does come in and get a win.
I think it's a hell of a fight, but yeah, it's tough to see the Huskers grabbing that one. And the other part is the Wolverines will have already played a big road game at Oklahoma. So unfortunately, Michigan wins, but it's a heck of a fight.
Yeah, a lot of talent on defense still for Michigan, despite the fact that they, offense, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Bryce Underwood. After that, that's a bye week, and then it's homecoming against Michigan State, October 4th. I like Nebraska over the Spartans.
Yeah, I'm not buying into the Jonathan Smith rebuilding program at MSU. I think the Huskers win that one.
Okay, and then they go on the road to Maryland, October 11th. I'm going to take Nebraska there as well.
Yeah, I've got the Huskers on that one. I mean, I think this is the Mike Loxley farewell tour. I think no Tua or no Tagovailoa there. The time's growing short for Mike in Maryland.
Yeah. All right. So that is 6 games in the rear view. We're both at 5-1. I'm going to have you go first on this next batch, starting at Minnesota. It's a Friday night kickoff right after a Saturday trip out east.
Okay, if you made this Team X versus Team Y and just talent ratings, matchups, the whole thing, I would take Nebraska. There's something about Minnesota. PJ Fleck has something. Don't know what it is. It annoys me to no end. I'm taking Minnesota just because I haven't seen Nebraska play well in the Twin Cities. This is a vibes pick because again, all other things being equal, Nebraska wins. But PJ Fleck worries me. He has some devil magic. He might actually be the devil. We can't be sure, but he has some devil magic on Nebraska. So I gotta pick the Ghosts, I guess.
All right. Well, I am also concerned of the circumstances. I am concerned that Minnesota has reloaded a little bit with running back and wide receiver transfers. And if they have a better offensive line, they're going to be able to run the ball like they did in 21 and 22, where they were over 200 yards per game. I also am taking Nebraska to lose Minnesota. We need to pick up the pace a little bit. Northwestern next, Nate.
Yeah, I think the Cats are going down. That's a Husker win.
It's the worst Big Ten team they'll play all year. I agree. I think Nebraska gets the win over the Wildcats. Then November 1st, blackout. Nate in all black calling for third downs against USC.
Boy, USC, a lot of talent, good team. I'm gonna take the Trojans, and then I never want to hear about black jerseys from you people again. Throw them away, burn them.
We got 2.5 months to work on you. All right, I am. Jordan Maiva is another bet on Lincoln Riley's talent development at the quarterback position, and a game Nebraska was in late last year.
Yeah,
I think they get it done. It's a big November game, and I think Nebraska gets the win to move to 7-2. You've got them at 6-3 at this point.
Hey,
let's go into the last quarter, fourth quarter of the season at UCLA. It is. I'm going to call for Nebraska win at the Rose Bowl. What say you?
Yeah, I'm not buying UCLA. I think Nico's going to be a player who plays well, but is not good for the locker room. Huskers win.
Okay. Then the bye week after UCLA, then you go out to State College. Tough one for Nebraska. I don't think they beat Penn State. Very, very, very difficult game. They're very talented.
Yeah, Nittany Lions.
Yep. Last one, Iowa, November 28th, 11 a.m., CBS. Can Nebraska finally beat Iowa at home for the first time since 2013?
I say yes, if for no other reason than my own personal sanity. Because if Nebraska loses another 13-10 to Iowa at the gun, I may lose control of myself.
Iowa's record at this point is going to be interesting. They have a really tough schedule this year.
Good.
They could be kind of tail spinning into Kirk Ferentz's goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
I like Nebraska to win big in this one. Give me them couple touchdowns. That means, Nate, as we spit it all out, you're 8-4 and I'm 9-3. I'm more optimistic than you this year. Flipping it from last year. I think last year you were 2 games better than me last year in terms of your thoughts.
Yeah, I was drinking the Kool-Aid pretty hard last year. And I've tried to be, I'm optimistic generally, and I could see that Minnesota game going to Nebraska pretty easily.
Yep.
But that's my one game where I'm going, yeah, Nebraska's better than them, but I worry just about what PJ has on us.
Yeah, I almost flipped Minnesota with USC or Michigan. Those 3 were the ones that I was kicking around. I ended up having Nebraska lose Michigan, Minnesota, and beat USC. But any of those 3 are interchangeable for me almost. But it's out there for them. Like the path to 9. Amie said 11 was the ceiling. I think 10's the ceiling. I just individual game by game. Yeah, they could probably win potentially 11 different games, but to have it all happen, I think is a far fetched. We got to hit our 9-3. That's right on the line, right? That's about where you think they'll end up. So we'll see how it all goes as we continue on. We're going to hit our last break, wrap this show up, get you ready for the weekend right here on the Husker Hour after this.
In Husker Hour, Executive Travel Talk is next on 1499.3 KLIN. giving you an inside look at everything Huskers. This is the KLIN Husker Hour on 1499.3 KLIN.
Wrapping things up today. First off, Nate, let's each call our shot. Husker Volleyball, Friday, Pinnacle Bank Arena, taking on the number 3 Pitt Panthers. Do they win?
Yes.
Yes.
In 5.
I like Nebraska as well. I'll take them in 4.
Oh.
That PBA environment, it's the missing ingredient to the national championship mix. It's what Nebraska needs. Cook never played there. DBK starts there. What a storyline.
Love it.
Thanks to Amie Just, who joined us. Really good stuff with Amie. Thanks to Nate Rohr. Thanks to Kenny Larrabee. I'm Cole Stukenholtz. Only one Saturday left before Husker football, and no Saturdays left until Husker volleyball. We made it, folks. We made it.
Woohoo!
Enjoy your weekend. And until next time, go Big Red.